There's a silence that comes with age. Not the silence of loneliness, but a kind of stillness. A deep, reflective quiet that settles in as the sun disappears behind the trees and the house grows dim. For many people over 65, this time of day, the hours before bed, becomes a sacred space. The phone stops ringing, the world slows down. And finally, there's a moment to sit and breathe. But here's something you might recognize, and maybe you've never said it out loud. Even in this quiet, your mind doesn't always follow. You sit in bed trying to relax, and yet you forget what you were doing. You try to remember someone's name, and it's just out of reach. You walk into the kitchen only to wonder why you came. It can feel frustrating, even frightening. But let me tell you this, from one person to another, you are not broken. You are not alone. And your mind is still yours. It just needs a little care. What most people don't realize is that memory isn't just something that happens to us during the day. It's deeply shaped by what we do right before we sleep. In fact, neuroscientists have discovered that the brain performs a kind of quiet magic at night, sorting through the events of the day, deciding what to keep and what to let go, strengthening the pathways that help you remember faces, facts, feelings. But here's the catch. If the hours before bed are filled with tension, noise, or mindless scrolling, that magic becomes scattered. The brain can't process clearly, and the next day it's harder to focus. Harder to recall names, appointments, even conversations you had just yesterday. That's why this video matters, because we're not talking about big dramatic changes. We're not chasing perfect sleep or miracle cures. We're talking about 3 small, gentle habits you can do before bedtime. Habits that send a message to your brain. You can rest now. You are safe. And here's what I'd like to hold on to. You see, after 65, the most powerful changes don't come from doing more. They come from doing less, but doing it with care, with intention, with love for yourself. In the next few moments, I'll walk you through 3 things you can try tonight. Not next week, not when you buy a fancy device. Tonight, right in your home, just as you are, because your memory deserves that chance, and so do you. So if you've ever felt like your mind is slipping, or you just want to feel a little more steady, a little more clear, stay with me. This journey starts gently, and it begins now. Most people think memory is something we sharpen during the day by reading more, doing puzzles, or staying mentally active. And while those things help, there's something many overlook. The hours before we sleep are just as important, if not more. You see, memory isn't stored like files in a cabinet. It's alive. It's being written, erased, rewritten, and organized, especially during sleep. Scientists have discovered that during the night, our brain performs something remarkable. It takes all the information we've gathered throughout the day, conversations, faces, tasks, even emotions, and begins to sort them out. This process is called memory consolidation. It's how short-term moments become long-term memories, and it mostly happens while we sleep. But here's the part no one talks about. The quality of that consolidation, the strength of those memories, depends on how we prepare the mind before sleep begins. If we go to bed with a racing mind, bright screens in our face, scattered thoughts, or unresolved stress, our brain struggles to do its job. It's like trying to organize a bookshelf in a dark, noisy room. But when we create calm, when we slow the nervous system and signal that the day is done, something powerful happens. The brain finds clarity again. This is especially important after 65. As we age, our brains produce less melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. Deep sleep, which is critical for memory formation, becomes harder to reach, and stress, loneliness, or even poor evening habits can make things worse. But when we learn to work with our body, not against it, we begin to reclaim the tools we thought were lost. Think of your brain like a garden. Daytime is when we plant seeds, new names, stories, experiences. Nighttime is when we water them. But without rest, without care, those seeds don't grow. And here's the hopeful truth. You don't need a perfect memory to begin improving it. You just need a willingness to care for it, especially when the world quiets down and the noise of the day begins to fade. In the next parts of this video, we'll explore 3 gentle habits that take just minutes to do, but may help you remember what matters most long after the lights go out. Before you close your eyes tonight, I invite you to try something simple but surprisingly powerful. Sit quietly at the edge of your bed or lie down if that's more comfortable. Take a few slow breaths, and then ask yourself, what are 3 things that happened today? They don't have to be big or impressive. It could be, I called my daughter, or I made tea and looked out the window. Even, I saw a bird I haven't seen in years. Now try to say them out loud or whisper them softly to yourself. This is called a recall ritual. And while it may seem small, research shows that this act of gently retrieving memories right before sleep can strengthen the brain's ability to store and organize them. It works like this. By pulling up moments from your day, you're telling your brain, this matters, keep this. You're giving your memory a signal, a reason to protect that information and place it in long-term storage during sleep. Over time, this practice also sharpens working memory, the part of the brain that helps you hold on to short pieces of information, like where you left your glasses or what you are about to do next. But the beauty of this ritual goes beyond the science. It gives you a sense of ownership over your day. It reminds you that even the quietest, most ordinary moments have value. And for many older adults, especially those living alone, it can offer a moment of emotional grounding, a thread of connection between the day that passed and the self that lived it. And here's the thing. You don't have to remember everything. Even if you can only recall 1 or 2 things, that's enough. What matters is the practice, the care, the intention. Think of it as gently watering the roots of your memory, not forcing it to bloom overnight, but giving it what it needs to grow, one evening at a time. Tomorrow night, do it again, and the next night. In just a few weeks, you may notice it becomes easier to remember details, conversations, even dreams. Because your brain feels heard, and healing begins where attention goes. In the next part, we'll explore a second evening habit, this one not about the mind, but the heart, and how just 1 sentence written before bed can help both sleep and memory in ways that may surprise you. Sometimes the mind forgets not because it's weak, but because it's overwhelmed. Too many thoughts, too many worries, too many unanswered questions. For older adults, especially after 65, this kind of mental clutter is more common than most people realize. And when we carry this clutter into the night, the brain struggles to find stillness, which means sleep becomes shallow and memory suffers. But there's one habit, just 1 line a night, that can gently clear the path. It's called 1-line gratitude journaling, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Before you go to sleep, write down 1 thing you're grateful for. Just 1 sentence, nothing more, nothing less. I'm grateful for the warmth of the sun today. I'm grateful that my knees didn't hurt while walking. I'm grateful I heard my grandson laugh over the phone. It doesn't have to be poetic. It doesn't have to be perfect. It only has to be true. So why does this help memory? First, gratitude naturally calms the nervous system. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that's known to interfere with both sleep and memory consolidation. Second, writing down a specific moment helps your brain anchor the experience. You're telling your mind, this mattered, this was real, keep it. In a study from the University of California, participants who practiced daily gratitude journaling reported better sleep, less brain fog, and even sharper short-term recall, especially in those over the age of 60. But here's the deeper truth. When you look for 1 thing to be thankful for, your brain starts to scan the day differently. It begins to notice the light instead of just the shadows. And that shift, over time, rewires how you relate to the world and to your own past. For those of us in our later years, when loss and uncertainty often feel closer than they once did, this is more than just a memory trick. It's a way of reclaiming meaning. It's a whisper to the self. You are still here, and today, even if quiet, was still worth remembering. Just one line. Each night, give yourself that small ritual of peace. In the next part, we'll talk about something most people ignore: movement before sleep, and how just a few minutes of gentle stretching may help your brain store memories more clearly than any crossword puzzle ever could. Most people think that improving memory means doing more puzzles, more reading, more brain games. And while those are helpful, there's something far simpler and often overlooked: gentle stretching. Right before bed. How does moving your body relate to remembering things better? But the connection is deeper than it seems. Let's start with the science. Our muscles store tension throughout the day, especially as we age. That tension, if left unaddressed, can raise cortisol levels, limit blood flow to the brain, and disrupt the sleep cycles critical for memory consolidation. In simple terms, if your body is tight and restless, your brain can't fully clean up and store what you learned or experienced that day. Now imagine this instead. You dim the lights, you stand by your bed or use a chair for balance, and you take 5 to 10 minutes to move gently, stretching your shoulders, arms, hips, legs. No pain, no pressure, just slow, mindful motion. As you stretch, your breathing deepens, your heart rate slows, and your brain begins to shift into a state called parasympathetic mode, the rest and restore mode. This is where healing happens. This is where memory sticks. In fact, studies have shown that light evening movement improves working memory, focus, and even the brain's glymphatic system, which helps clear out waste and supports long-term memory retention. But more than that, it helps you feel present in your body again. For many older adults, we carry aches and fatigue not just in muscles, but in memory. Stretching before sleep isn't just physical care, it's a quiet message to your nervous system. You are safe now. You can let go. I've got you. And that signal, when received consistently, does something remarkable. It allows the mind to do its best work during sleep. It frees up space for clarity, for peace, and yes, for memory to strengthen naturally. Try this tonight. Even just 2 stretches, even if you're sitting down, let the body unwind so the brain can too. In the next and final part of this video, we'll gently bring it all together, so you can remember not only what to do before bed, but why it matters so deeply for your well-being after 65. So, let's pause. Let's breathe together. You've just taken in 3 simple yet deeply transformative habits. First, the mental rewind. Taking just 1 minute to walk back through your day. This grounds your memories and tells your brain, this mattered. It's a gift of presence wrapped in stillness. Second, the one-line gratitude journal. A sentence of thanks scribbled down before sleep. More than a ritual, it's a gentle rebalancing of perspective, calming your heart and anchoring the mind in peace. And third, the evening stretch. A quiet act of self-kindness that loosens the body and signals the brain that it's safe to rest and to restore. None of these require expensive tools. None demand perfection. They only ask for one thing: a few minutes of your time and the willingness to care for yourself in small, powerful ways. Because after 65, memory isn't just about remembering phone numbers or where you left your glasses. It's about remembering the moments that shaped you, the people you've loved, the wisdom you've gathered. And most importantly, it's about remembering who you are. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, try just one of these habits. Feel how it shifts your rhythm, your breathing, your thoughts. And over the next 3 weeks, as these practices settle in, you might just notice that your mind feels a little clearer, your heart a little lighter, and your nights a little more restful. Not because you changed everything, but because you changed something. With intention, with love, with care. And sometimes that's all it takes to feel like yourself again. Before you go, I want to ask you something gentle. Which of these 3 habits feels most natural to try tonight? Leave me a comment below, even just a few words, to remind yourself that it matters, that you matter. And if this video brought you a sense of calm or clarity, please consider subscribing to Golden Pathways. Here we walk together through memory, aging, healing, and hope, at your pace, in your time. You don't have to figure it all out at once. Just one small step, one peaceful night, one thoughtful habit at a time. Thank you for being here. May your evening be restful and your mind kind to you.